Well, she said she
back up a little. Now, you're saying that part of your lawsuit is a breach of contract regarding some mortgage papers or refinance?
Yes.
All right, give me some background on that.
Let me say this very quickly. She's stating that the plaintiff was asking her for sex in order for him to sign off on those papers. He really could have just said no, because he does not owe her anything. What he should be fighting for is for custody of his children, so that she could not use that as an excuse to demonize him for not helping her out. If he was truly trying to get her back and hurt her, that's what he should be doing. Because as a father, if they have 3 kids together, especially if they have 2 sons or 3 sons or whatever it is, he should be trying to get custody of the children if he's that concerned about trying to hurt her. I don't believe that he's that concerned. I think he's still hurt that she does not want to be with him, and he still has not accepted the fact that she does not want to be with him. That's why I tell you, brothers, that when things end, they end. If people show you that they have no true intention of being willing to open themselves up to reclaim whatever you thought you had with them, that's fine. That's why you have to keep the Most High first, man. Most High has to come first in your life. The spiritual aspect always has to come first. Because the same person that is making vows and taking vows as she did, when they turn, are you going to crumble? Or are you going to realize that man is changeable? The Most High is not changeable. But man and woman are changeable, especially the woman. Whimsical and capricious by nature.
I was out the house. I was living somewhere else, and she just came out the blue and asked me to sign some loan modification papers for her. I told her,
You all were still married?
yes. And I told her, no, wait till after the divorce, and then that'll work itself out. She said, no, I need it now. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. She said, I'll give you $50. I said, make it $500 and I would do it. She said, okay. But I didn't trust her, so I had her write out a contract to say that she would.
Well, brother, the only contract that matters is that marriage contract that you guys already signed. You are a joint corporation. So whatever her financial burdens are also your financial burdens. That's why you brothers have to understand what you get into when you decide to sign these contracts with these females. Please understand that the main reason why the Americanized or the Western woman wants to get married is for self-exaltation. It's to prove that they were good enough for a man to make a contractual commitment to them. Because being in love, brothers, that's like a high. That fades. But real love doesn't fade. That's why I state that all love is sacrifice and loyalty. When you have real love for someone else and they have real love for you, then you're going to find a way to transcend whatever these issues are that you have. That's why communication is very important. And brothers have to recognize these signs. Many modern day liberal females are very poor communicators. They prefer to talk at people than with them. That's why most of them are depressed, because they have no real way, no real mechanism to express their feelings, because they've been taught that all men are trying to oppress them. So you have to understand who you're getting into a relationship with. That's why I make these series, know who you're living with. Are you with an angry woman? So on and so forth. Because the main obstacle, the main hurdle for the so-called black man in this society, especially many of you younger brothers, is the lack of understanding of the woman and this society. And the way that, to be quite frank with you, they've been given way too much power. And this power is not only hurting many of these men that don't know what's going on, it's hurting themselves. One of the main reasons why the liberal woman is so depressed is because she needs to be moderated by the man. But she can't be moderated by the man because she's raising these boys. So they think and act like women.
So I went and signed the loan modification papers. And after about a month, I asked her, I was like, where's the money? She said, I'm not going to give you any money. She just told me flat out she wasn't going to do it.
What a shock. So you mean after you decide to marry her, she stepped out on you and had sex with another man, at least one man that you know of. You believe that just because she put her name on a piece of paper, that she was going to adhere to what she alleged she was going to do? She may have conferred with the lawyer, and the lawyer told her, go ahead and sign it. That's already your husband contractually. So you're not going to be obligated to owe him anything, especially since in regards to the property that you're living in, you're both obligated for it. According to your marriage contract, the lawyer may have told her something like that. So maybe she called him back and said, oh yeah, I'll sign it, already knowing that she would not have been liable for it.
What about sex? Did you ask for sex in exchange for signing the papers?
At a point, she said.
Just say yes, brother.
She said she came and she asked me. It was another round of papers I had to do.
You was looking for another round of ass.
She said they didn't go through. So I said, what about the money? She said she wasn't going to give me the money. So I said, can we hook up? And she said, okay. But I didn't believe her, so I went ahead and did it.
Well, if you didn't believe her, then why did you sign it, brother? You sound real pathetic. You sound real lame. Brothers, once again, and I say this a lot of times, especially the brothers who read the scriptures and they get enraptured by the scriptures, and a lot of times brothers take their mind and their consciousness back to 1000 BC and they think that they're still living in ancient Israel. We're not in ancient Israel. We're in Babylon right now. We're in modern day Babylon. So there's a difference between how things should be and how they are. You have to understand how things are so that you don't lose your mind. Okay? You have to understand that everything in this society is corporate and commercial. Everything. Marriage, your children, everything. They're all viewed as commercial or financial assets. Love, human needs, human wants, human bonds, they have nothing to do with anything once you get into that court. Judge Mathis and every other judge, they're bankers. And they view you either as an asset or a detriment. That's it.
Your Honor, I just needed the paperwork signed. He's not on the deed. I needed it signed so I can get my mortgage modified and stay in my home with my children that I've been taking care of since day one. He wanted me to pay alimony.
I'm trying to figure out how come the new man is not helping you with your mortgage. Why you need his help for? This is how I know that most likely the plaintiff does not have his shit together in regards to his finances, because this is supposed to be an occasion that you're not going to try to blackmail the defendant for ass. You should say, okay, well, since you're so unsure about how you're going to house my children, I'm going to take you to court for custody and get my children back from you right after we sign this divorce. But his brain is so foggy because he's still thinking about the sex that he used to have with this broad 10 years ago that he's incapable of thinking strategically. And it's costing himself and possibly his children. Because as it is, this female here has a whole other man presiding over his children, which they have no problem doing, because the modern day liberal female has no respect for fatherhood other than for any type of monetary contribution. That's all they view fatherhood as. Monetary contribution. They don't want that energy presiding over the household at all. The liberal female, they do not want that.
Me in a divorce. He's just trying to get whatever he can out of me, even though he doesn't help me with the kids. He doesn't communicate with me as far as the kids are concerned.
Do you hear how many of these females speak about their quote-unquote ex-husbands? They talk about communication because to them it's just a partnership. It's a corporate partnership, brothers. Okay? That's how they view it. You have to understand it. That's why you have to take your time getting to know these females. Understand how much they appreciate the masculine principle. And not rush into any type of firm commitment with them relationship-wise. Because when the liberal female turns, they don't give a damn about what things were like in the past. And hopefully you brothers grasp that and pick up on that so that you don't end up being someone else in court looking stupid. Because real talk, by the time you end up in court, it's over for you for the most part. The so-called judge, who's actually a banker, is just going to be looking for a way to tax you, to charge you. Because once again, every aspect of this society is viewed as either a financial asset or a financial liability.
So he just didn't want to help me. So that was his way of his leverage to, make me do what he wants me to do.
Well, why should he need to help you for? You've already moved on to another man, unless you made the wrong decision in moving on to that man. See, if this brother, the plaintiff, was on his P's and Q's, then that's how I know that he most likely is not on his P's and Q's financially or mentally, because he still has not moved past this female here, his former wife, the defendant. He easily could have taken her to court for custody of the children and used many of her attempts to have him assist her in alleviating the mortgage for her house. He could have used that as proof that she was financially unstable. And I need to have my children back with me, but he's not concerned with his children as much as getting her back. Why is that? Because he was in love with her. Once again, brothers, you never fall in love with a woman. You love your woman. You have to be there for your woman when she needs you. You have to be there to guide her. And if the Lord blesses you with a wise woman, she's going to tell you things to help you. And you have to have the discernment to listen to what she's saying. Because a man with discernment and prudence is able to distinguish between bullshit and information that is actually going to assist him in becoming a better person. But in love, no. And most women, when they mature, they understand that they don't want a man who's going to become goo goo gaga over them, because that turns into a stalker. And that's very, very dangerous. In this society, you have to be able to pick up your face off the ground when you go through hardships in life and move forward. If you can't do that, then you should not initiate a serious relationship with a woman.
Not true.
And I don't want to do that.
Well, it says you signed something for $500. Let me see it.
I did that out of desperation because I needed a signature. But he gave me the runaround about time-wise. Anyway, so I needed another set. By the time he signed them, I needed a new set because it was past the date for the papers to be signed. So
Right, you all were still married during all this, right?
Yes.
Stay tuned. The case continues after this.
Now notice the judge asked them, now you were still married when this whole situation was occurring, correct? Why is that? Because he's trying to determine exactly how much weight this attempt at a contract the plaintiff was having the defendant sign should hold in regards to financial liability. Because if they were still married, then they're both going to be financially liable for property and what have you. That's why, once again, brothers, know what you're doing when you decide that you're going to quote-unquote marry someone. Many of these females, they have a greater understanding of what marriage is than you do. And you don't find that out until the divorce. Because before the marriage, everything is love, love, love. But when she decides that she wants to initiate the divorce proceedings, then everything is about money, money, money. And that shows you that they understood what marriage was from the very beginning, which is a corporate merger.
All right, now let's get to the unreturned property you're suing about.
Well, I will go back to